Never heard of the Millennium Falcon? Should I have? It's a ship that made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
All right, everything seems to be in order, and so welcome everyone. Sorry to anybody who just joined us. Yeah, we tried before, yes. And it was a little bit difficult there.
If at first you don't succeed,
try again. So there you go. So guys, welcome. So we are trying something new and not new. If you've joined us before, you know that we do our Holocron Book Club live on Facebook whenever we can do it, really, because I have a awful schedule.
Retail.
If we're being honest here. Yes, retail. But we've done live Facebook stuff before. It doesn't excuse us from any kind of technical difficulties. No. But we are going to try actually letting you guys in on our actual major episodes, our Friday episodes, which we have not done before.
Because we want to interact with you.
Absolutely.
That's our ultimate goal.
Definitely. And that's the thing, is that we have fun talking with you guys. We talk with a lot of you on Instagram, through Facebook, made friends. You guys are really cool, and so we want you to be able to interact in our shows because we love the input that you give us on our Holocron Book Club.
Definitely.
And so feel free to jump in and leave a comment. We will get to questions on the show and everything. And if you missed this episode, no worries. It'll be available tomorrow at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. So whenever your podcast just shows up. But yeah, so cool. So you ready to get started?
I am.
All right, so first off, welcome to Kessel Run Weekly. And I just stole your line.
That's
I'm very
okay.
sorry. So you'll see the actual live process here.
Usually
sometimes I'm a complete goof.
We do that a few times sometimes.
A few times, yeah. So second time, because twice is the charm tonight. So, all right, guys, so here we go. Hey, everyone, and welcome
to Kessel Run Weekly.
See, it just happens. All right. Third time's the charm, right?
No, we're fine.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Last time. Here we go. Hey, everyone, and welcome to
Kessel Run Weekly.
Hey, my name is Danny.
I'm Heather.
And thank you guys for joining us throughout that. Today we have a cool topic that Heather and I have been kind of going back and forth on, and not necessarily debating, but
I put this in the Trello. Yeah. 3 months ago, and we've been dying to do this topic, but I wanted to do some reading.
Absolutely. So, and it's a really cool topic, I think, because it's not something that I would ever say that's at the forefront of my mind, but when you brought it up, and a lot of the points that you brought up to me, just kind of previewing this a little bit, a lot of that was really interesting to think about. And that's what we love to do here on Kessel Run Weekly, is to dive into the story.
What I want to stress, though, is that we are fans of Star Wars, but we do not know everything about Star Wars. So if you know something we don't know, we want to know it, because we love it as much as you do.
Definitely. We love for you guys to join in, and again, we're not experts.
No.
We just love Star Wars.
And we want to learn more.
Absolutely.
So teach us.
Yes. So on to our topic.
Yeah.
Drum roll. Obi-Wan versus Vader. So we're actually we're not doing a who would win in a battle.
No, not
anything.
A versus,
we're actually,
because we know who won, obviously.
Yes, we know who won that battle. But we want to talk about that scene in A New Hope, Episode 4, Obi-Wan versus Vader. There's so much weight there. It's huge.
My question was, why did Obi-Wan stop? Why did he just stop fighting and just fall and decide to die?
That's what I've always wondered. To me, because Obi-Wan, I feel like it can be a little sneak sometimes. I've always kind of felt it was kind of showboaty, especially seeing the Obi-Wan that we see in the prequels and things like that. It didn't seem genuine. It was almost like he held off Vader as far as he could and then looked over at Luke. Now, mind you, I'm going off of the movies. back in '77, so I get that there's a little difference there in what we have today. But at the same time, it was just odd how he waited for Luke, and then as soon as Luke walked in the room or come running in the room, he just gave up. Literally, just held his lightsaber and was like, "I'm done. That's it." And I always thought that was strange because the Kenobi that we see throughout the Clone Wars animated series, the prequels,
would have never given up.
Yeah, would have never given up. I mean, even seeing the episode 1, Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan going at Obi-Wan going at Maul. Yeah, he didn't give up. I mean, he went full out. We got to see Kenobi really what he could do at that time as a Padawan.
Right.
So that's what I've always wondered. Did you have any thoughts on that?
I have 3 schools of thought that you can go in 3 directions on this, and I'm going to use the one that I prefer last. First, I'm going to say that he did it at that moment when Luke was looking finally, because he felt that was an absolute way to show him that you have to join this full-heartedly, and this is what you have to defeat, and to really catalyze him into commitment forever, not just childhood wonder and I've got a lightsaber. No, he really wanted to show him how brutal what he was about to fight, what the rebellion was fighting for.
Okay.
That's my first school of thought.
Yeah. I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, I guess I agree and disagree, but not, I guess, from a point of, oh, well, this is the answer. But
no,
Kenobi's
usually not manipulative. He's not a manipulative person.
He's so manipulative through the original trilogy. That's what bothers me, is that it's almost like we got 2 Kenobis. And maybe that's a writing flaw.
I don't think it's a writing flaw. Well, I'm going to just justify what some people might think is a writing flaw.
Okay.
We see a very late Kenobi. He's been in the desert for a very long time. He has basically destroyed his best friend. Even though he's still alive, he destroyed him. I mean, how much can one man take and still be the same Kenobi?
I could see that. Because, I mean, there is quite a bit of time between the last time we see him in Revenge of the Sith to when
as we know, because we haven't gotten a Kenobi movie,
hint.
he was a hermit all that time, just watching over Luke. So he had a lot of time to think. He had a lot of time to study with Qui-Gon, and I think it changed him. People change.
I can agree with that. I could see where that could happen. I guess it just bothers me because I love the old Kenobi. But I mean, like you said, we all change.
We all change, and when we have a major, basically an apocalypse of our life, there's not going to be a way to, you've lived from a baby, basically, your whole life for this one goal, and then it's stripped away, basically because you feel like you did it.
I mean, absolutely, yeah.
So,
and with that too, I feel like, thinking about it, I think that maybe Obi-Wan really knew, well, not maybe, I think he knew what was at stake.
He did know
because even though he knew he was going to go meet Anakin, he didn't know in what form or what was happening. He knew of the Empire. He knew what was already happening. He was central in all of that.
Are you talking like A New Hope? Or are you talking Vader or Anakin?
Well, I'm talking,
Revenge of the Sith or New Hope? Okay.
His mindset going into the Death Star for the first time, and seeing Vader on the ship fighting him, all that kind of stuff. Okay. His mindset prior to that.
His mindset prior to that is to get to a certain bay. Okay? Because I read the scene in the book. I'm just giving you a little, because the schedule has, time has passed. But your video never started.
Oh, it's live right now.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, so we're good.
Well, I'm not getting any questions, so you're just gonna have to
Yeah.
because it's not working for me.
Okay.
So I feel he felt a presence,
Mm-hmm.
but it was kind of familiar, but not at all. It was cold,
Right.
and he didn't have a lot of experience with Sith, and especially this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he'd only met one, really. I mean, he met Sidious. He didn't fight him, and Sidious was very good at shielding himself, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's making it to this bay, and he almost made it there, and then Vader snuck up on him, and he was like, "Okay, we're gonna do this."
Right.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, and with that, I mean, I guess I can kind of understand where Kenobi may have come from as far as why he did what he did. It almost makes me wonder if he had not done that, would it really have cemented for Luke to join the rebellion and fight the Empire and things like that? Because it reminds me of when Kylo kills Han. That was the moment that Rey said, "I'm fighting." I mean, she was already wholeheartedly in, but that cemented that. That was her
up to that
going back
moment,
point.
Luke's, I feel up to that moment, Luke's motivations were kind of, this is kind of my destiny, and it's fun, and it's game. You know, he looked at it like, I can save the world. But it's still, it wasn't, I mean, he'd seen his aunt and uncle die. But really, he was on an outer world. But I haven't read the whole book. That's just my... before I read the book, I thought maybe Obi-Wan didn't fight to the best visibility because Vader, in a way, could still be Anakin. His brother. His best friend. The only person he's really ever loved. And he wasn't supposed to, and he loved him anyway.
Definitely.
But that was before I read. So,
well, and even before you get into that, though, like, I mean, and just the thought that I had, I mean, it goes back to that ending scene in Revenge of the Sith, where it was the "You were my brother, Anakin." I mean, you've got to, even though he has changed and Obi-Wan has gone through a lot up until A New Hope, you still got a lot of history there. Exactly. I mean, he's meeting. It's not out of context. He is meeting his brother, who was his brother. He considered his brother his closest friend for the first time since he fell to the dark side. It was a presence that he didn't really understand, and he really didn't know what he was gonna find, to be honest, because he left him on Mustafar. Right. To his knowledge, he was dead.
Well, I'm pretty sure that on that backwards planet, at some point, he heard of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if he'd heard the name Vader, but I'm pretty sure he did. I'm not sure.
Possibly. Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I would think.
I don't know if Vader was one that really that the Empire would have advertised. He was kind of more of the
but he
go in, go out, and that was it.
He was a very looming figure. I mean, but I mean, that's just my take.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah. I think that the biggest part of that battle, though, because it kind of, and even though, I mean, it's dated, we'll go ahead and say it. It's definitely dated. It's not going to be Maul flipping around or anything like that. It's a little slow moving. But to me, it reminds me of like of a Clash of the Titans kind of thing.
It's basically a guy in a suit, armor. He's had to adjust his lightsaber style due to his mechanics. And a man that's still very good, but he's old, and he's had to adjust his mechanics also. Right. So there's no flipping, and there's no real Jedi fighting, because it was different circumstances, maybe.
Well, definitely. And like I was saying, I mean, I feel like it almost gives more power to it, the way that they fight, because we know what they can do. We know what both of them can do. and the slow moving hits. It reminds me of like how, I mean, it's kind of a lame example, but like you'll see like Kaiju, Godzilla, and all that fight where it's really slow but really, really impactful. And that's what it kind of reminds me of is how every hit was meaningful. It was Obi-Wan not wanting to kill his brother, but Anakin lost to the dark side, knowing that Obi-Wan was still alive and I have bested you, and he wasn't gonna let him leave. And I feel like maybe part of Obi-Wan knew that, where he knew he wasn't gonna get out of here, so why not make it mean something?
So that happens to be my conclusion.
Oh, okay.
Because in the book, he was losing.
Mm-hmm.
Vader was stronger. He was kind of holding his own, but he was losing.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that he chose the perfect moment to effect real change, to die. He also told Vader, when you die, you're nothing. When I die, I'm everything, basically. I become more powerful. You're not going to destroy me. So he used that moment of his physical death to effect the most change possible.
I could definitely see that for sure. So between Kenobi and Anakin, I mean, obviously you have everything that we have from the Revenge of the Sith and things like that. With Obi-Wan doing what he did and affecting Luke, do you feel like that self-sacrifice was necessary in order to get Luke to join the rebellion, to actually spur him forward?
I think that Luke would have fought valiantly. I think he would have fought hard. But there's a certain drive that comes with pain. Maybe not. Maybe he wouldn't have been able to without that realization.
Yeah. I mean, he did save the princess.
He saved the princess. Everything has always worked out except for his aunt and uncle. I mean, that was a big catalyst. But
barbecues are not good on Tatooine.
No. But at least now he can go to Tashi Station whenever he wants.
Exactly.
But, I mean, yeah.
Well, definitely. So we did have a few comments from Instagram. I think we may have covered them, but I did want to mention them, though. It was from at Not Just Superheroes. They're another fellow podcast on Instagram that we have that follow us. So thank you guys for commenting on our post earlier today about the live show. Again, it's kind of a semi-first for us.
Yeah,
we've never done one of these.
New.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to do something to join you guys, or to have you guys join us. Again, because we like talking with you. And so their comment rather was, I never really got why Kenobi gave up so easily. It made no sense to me, but after Revenge of the Sith, it made a lot more sense. I don't know, it's just me. That's finally the first time he saw Anakin at his full power and how much he had failed Anakin. So that last part really kind of spoke to me a little bit on that, about how much he failed Anakin. Because, like you said, he may have heard of Vader. We don't know if Vader was really a common name or not, because I know in Rebels, the Rebels do know about them. Star Wars Rebels, rather. In that animated series, they know of him, but it's because they've had run-ins with him. They've been so far into the inner center of the Empire that they've basically forced him to come out at times.
Right.
But we don't... I don't know. I don't feel like Vader's really commonplace as far as like your Imperial propaganda and things like that.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
well, I don't think that's ever really said, but as far as Obi-Wan coming up to him and realizing how much he did fail Anakin, I mean, I feel like that had a lot of weight to that as well. Because, I mean, you're looking at your brother, literally more machine than man now, completely lost, completely dark, because we even see his just lack of remorse when he faces Ahsoka in Rebels, where he's just like, okay, then you must die. There's no thing, and we know how close they were. And Obi-Wan and Anakin were even closer. They were brothers, And so with that weight, I mean, I can't imagine that pain there. You got something you wanted to add?
Okay, so Kenobi felt very passionately about Anakin. It was the only person he'd ever loved. You were my brother. You were my best friend. Anakin didn't feel that way about Kenobi. He liked him. He was his mentor. He kind of respected him, but he felt like he was a father holding him back. There was not the same passion there between them. And personally, the last end of that comment, I don't think Kenobi actually failed Anakin. I think he never should have been a Jedi, ever. He doesn't have Jedi traits. He is passionate, and he's scared. And they knew this from the beginning. These are traits that you can't just break out of somebody. And the only reason Kenobi trained him, because he didn't even agree with it, is because he promised to. And I believe that they trained him. They probably shouldn't have trained him. But, I mean, then he wouldn't have been able to really do the balance thing that he did.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like if they hadn't picked him up, then someone else would have.
Yep.
He would have been noticed at the sheer power that Anakin had. Just the potential. I mean, he couldn't even control the Force, but inadvertently he was using it pod racing. Like, just the little bit of that, it was part of him, and he didn't even realize
But
it.
if he could stay with his mother, who was actually a good influence on him, and it was a healthy relationship, and she could nurture that love and that respect for people and that devotion, loyalty, things that are not Jedi traits. They're loyal to peace.
Yeah.
They can't form attachments. That's all Anakin ever was an attachment.
That's true. I mean, everybody he ever came in contact with, just about you were. I mean, and he even mentions it at one point that they forbid attachment. So yeah. So
if he loved them, he loved them from the beginning.
Definitely. Which, I mean, it ended up assisting in his downfall, but that's actually a point of view that I never thought of, where if he had stayed with his mother, that's actually really interesting. I'd never actually thought about that, but that was really cool.
We have a question on Facebook.
We do.
Yes. What's his statement? Matt Dean, one of my friends. He's
cool.
Metal Elf on YouTube. Actually.
Oh, cool.
He started this new thing. He's got this quirky little show that he does. So, seems to me Kenobi wanted to show Luke the possibilities of the Force to make him interested enough to go see Yoda. And now he said, "I love you so much, Padme. Now die."
Oh, man.
I was explaining that scene to a friend that had never seen it today, and
that's awesome. So I don't know what I think about that as far as showing him the capabilities of the Force. I mean, it's kind of jarring to see Kenobi disappear, if that's what he's referring to, just kind of drop out of nowhere and he's a pile of laundry on the floor.
But that did show that he could transform, and as a Jedi, if you're powerful enough as a Jedi, you don't have to end there.
That's true.
So I kind of see that point.
I could see that, definitely.
Because, up to that point, he's waving around and, doing the blaster. But this, he's like, no, you need to go see Yoda so you can really learn how to do this. Right.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. I always did like that Obi-Wan still lived on through the series. I mean, obviously, we know he learns this from Qui-Gon.
Right.
But, I mean, I always loved that was the case because, I mean, Luke would have been lost. It would have ended there, basically. He would have just become another soldier, and that would have been it.
Directed by George Lucas.
Yes, exactly. So I mean, that definitely adds a lot of depth to that, and obviously propels the story forward.
Wouldn't be Star Wars.
Exactly. So cool. So did we have any other questions or any
I
other
noticed a comment.
comments?
We said Star Wars. The thing about these conflict is very dominant. Obviously, it's war. It's Star Wars. But I think that the good thing about these scenes is that they show that war is not glorified.
Okay.
It may not be honorable. It's devastating.
Definitely.
So it's not like Pirates of the Caribbean where pirates are like awesome. No, war is devastating and it's hard.
Yeah. Cool. So any final thoughts on Kenobi Vader?
So what is your actual final thought now that what's your...
My final take on it, because I mean, like I was telling you, and I mentioned earlier in the podcast, my whole thing was that I felt like Obi-Wan was showboating a little bit, and his self-sacrifice wasn't worthless, but I felt like it was needless. But thinking about it and what you've presented and everything, I mean, I still kind of wonder what if it could have still succeeded differently, or Luke could have progressed differently had he had Obi-Wan by his side. Would he have been more powerful?
But Obi-Wan had already failed the only padawan he'd ever had. Did he really want another one?
I mean, he basically took one on, though. That's the thing. Here's your father's lightsaber. Go have fun.
Yeah, but then he knew... But, yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, again, it's a big what if.
It's a big what if. And it didn't happen that way. It happened this way.
It didn't. Exactly. But I mean, I see more in that scene though now, because it is more impactful, and I see that where it was necessary. I think. I definitely think so.
I think it was necessary. There are multiple ways to solve a problem. Maybe there were different ways to propel Luke forward. Maybe this didn't have to be one, but it's what he decided he was going to do in that moment because he was fixing to die anyway.
Definitely. Yeah. So ultimately, obviously it was, I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be, but,
right.
But yeah, but I mean, I think everything that we talked about gives it a lot more depth and a lot more weight. Because, I mean, obviously it's already a very impactful scene. It's very pivotal to the story overall. But I feel like we really expanded on that. I think we
got
added
another
some depth
comment.
to that. So, yeah, we do. Oh.
Timothy McMahon, thumbs up. I always felt like Obi-Wan wasn't there to be Luke's master, but rather to get like to Yoda. Even if he lived, he would have brought Luke to Yoda. Luke, it was, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of bringing him to the master, or who he felt was the master,
right. So that's kind of what I felt, you know.
I can see that, yeah.
He didn't, yeah, no biggie. I agree with that, that it could be, you know, I've already failed this. Yoda's got way more experience. He's way better at this than me. He's proved that. And well,
I mean, his Padawan turned too.
Yeah, but how many did he have out of his 900 years?
He was there for quite some time.
I mean, he almost wrote the book. I mean, he didn't, but you know, he contributed to it because you got me that for my birthday.
Oh yes, definitely. So yeah, so I mean, I can definitely see that because I mean, thinking about it too, as far as the progression. So Yoda being that final destination, whether Obi-Wan lived or not, he would be bringing him there. Because of ultimately, he did feel like Luke was the chosen one. So regardless, he was there to build or to bring balance to the Force and to settle conflict, basically.
Right,
to bring
and why
balance
not
and
take
peace to
him
the galaxy.
to the best Jedi that was left?
Jedi Pro. Yep. Definitely.
Best teacher in the galaxy.
That. Best one.
I like that.
The green guy.
Thanks, Timothy.
Thank you. So cool. So, anything else? Anything else we wanted to add to the episode?
We have a Facebook group.
Yes, we do. You want to tell them about that?
We have a Facebook group. There's like 35 people in it. It is a group for all level of fan knowledge and appreciation. There is no requirement of how much knowledge you have. All that we ask is that you have a passion for Star Wars and
Absolutely.
you want to talk about it, and you can be respectful and have real conversations with people about
Definitely.
this wonderful fandom and be a group.
Absolutely. It's a place for you to get excited about Star Wars,
Right.
and for us to be able to get to talk to you guys, because we talk to each other all the time,
Yeah.
but we obviously want to branch out. I'm not sick of you.
Better not be.
No, in it for the long haul. But no, I mean, we love branching out. We love getting to talk with you guys. A lot of our conversations have been on Facebook and Instagram. Our Twitter needs some love, but
I'm sorry.
So yeah, it's all good.
I tried and
Well, hey, it's all good. But yeah, so we want to talk to you guys, and what a better place to do it than uniting under Star Wars.
yes.
So definitely encourage you to join our group if you haven't already. We'll be posting a lot more stuff there, a lot more conversational kind of things and everything. Just having fun.
Yeah.
Something to make your day every day, because we got to keep Star Wars every day, right? So yeah, and even moving forward from that, guys, we do have a website. It's kesselrunweekly.com. You can find all of our social media stuff on that, anywhere you want to find your podcasts, our YouTube. We are on iTunes and Google Play. I mean, we're everywhere. Which we want to reach out to you. We want you to be able to join in our conversations, is why we're everywhere.
Yes.
So yeah, so
Timothy joined our group.
Oh, thank you, Timothy.
Yay.
Awesome. See, joining it live. I like this. Live updates. So yeah, so guys, be sure, again, follow Timothy's example and join our Kessel Run Weekly group. So, and also, guys, you can connect with us on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at Kessel Run Weekly. We have episodes coming out every single Wednesday and Friday, and hopefully we'll get to do this again, because this was a lot of fun.
This was fun. I like the interaction live.
Absolutely.
Awkward when you mess up, but I can deal. I'm never above making a fool out of myself to have fun.
I mean, isn't that what we always do? No, I'm just
True.
teasing.
At least I didn't sing this time.
It'll happen, guys.
It will.
It'll happen one time. Probably quite a few times, but it'll be amazing. Trust me.
Amazing.
All right, guys. So, again, check our website out, KesselRunWeekly.com. Find us on social media at KesselRunWeekly. And until next time, I'm Danny.
I'm Heather.
And may the Force be with you. Cool. And now you guys get to sit here awkwardly while we end the stream.